Test 1, 2. Testing the sound. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. Testing the sound. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2. One, two, three. Test, test, test. One, two, three. Test, test, test. One, two, three. Test, test, test. This is a sound check for Thankful Thursdays. Last sound check. 1, 2, 3. Well, good afternoon. It is good to be with you all here on Thursday, June 4th, 2020, for our weekly Thankful Thursdays gathering. If you're joining us for the first time, every Thursday we get together at 12:05, whether live or you're tuning in later. We will always broadcast at 12:05 on Thursdays to do a little short devotion with you, talking about a piece of scripture or an inspirational piece that we've seen, or we might even share some music someday to helping us all think through things that we can be thankful for in the midst of everything that we're going through. So today, instead of sharing a piece of scripture with you all, I would like to share a quote that I recently came across, and it's a quote that was shared on social media, and there are some that I struggle to get on board with, just for them to be sort of so cheery, so rose-colored, and then it doesn't speak truth to the pain that everyone is feeling, whether it be from COVID-19 alone or from the last couple weeks here in the Twin Cities, and with the murder of George Floyd and all of the protests and riots and burning buildings and everything that we've been going through and watching other people go through, only adds to the pain and suffering and anxiety and angst that we all feel in different levels. And so this quote that I came across actually spoke into that, and I really do feel that it is a perfect piece for us to reflect on today and our Thankful Thursdays together. So this quote is by Leslie Dwight. What if 2020 isn't canceled? What if 2020 is the year we've been waiting for? A year so uncomfortable, so painful, so scary, so raw, that it finally forces us to grow. A year that screams so loud, finally awakening us from our ignorant slumber. A year we finally accept the need for change, declare change, work for change, become the change. A year we finally band together instead of pushing each other further apart. 2020 isn't canceled, but rather it's the most important year of them all. And what I love about this quote, this piece of writing, is that it speaks to everything that this world and our country has been dealing with since January 1st. Australia was burning at the beginning of this year. Our pandemic, COVID-19, spread worldwide. Murder hornets were seen in the western coast, and that is a new species that could wreak havoc on our pollinators that help the whole ecosystem function properly. And now we're dealing with a result of systemic racism and prejudice and one more tragic loss of life from the African American community. And it's sparking in so many people a need, a cry out for change. And so much of this year so far has resulted in quotes from people saying, 2020 can just be done. Let's just move on to 2021. But I think what Leslie here is writing is true. We have so much of 2020 left. We've gone through so much in just a few short months of this year. But that doesn't mean that we give up. That doesn't mean that we just survive until 2021 gets here. No, we are presented with an opportunity to finally grow, to finally examine ourselves and what we hold dear, what we prioritize, and to live into those true things that we hold dear, and what we have needed to change for so long, whether that be inherent racism, whether that be all of the different ways that we are being brought, racing to and fro to our different activities and never being together as families. And now here we are, months into being under the same roof with our families all the time. And that's helping us to see where our priorities need to shift. And with our faith, we have been living in a time when it seems to be that there is more suffering and pain than there is joy and hope, more violence than there is peace. And the God that we love, the God that we worship and follow, is a God of peace and love and joy and hope. And yet, we are living in a time when it is more reasonable than ever to look at the state of our country and our state and our cities and our world and say, God, if you are those things, if you are joy, if you are peace, if you are comfort and hope, where are you in 2020? That's a reasonable question to ask. Now, I can stand here and tell you that God is working, that God is moving, that God is here. But it's also on each of us to look, to watch. God isn't the pain. God isn't the suffering. God is the movement for change. God is moments of peace in the midst of suffering. God is the restorative work on a community, on behalf of a community, coming together after destruction and piecing everyone back together. God is the voice crying out for justice for everyone, equality for everyone, love for everyone. So today, on this day of being thankful, Thankful Thursdays after all, I encourage you to find something in the midst of this week's events that you can be thankful for, that you have seen God show up in the way that we know who God is. Because God is there, God is working, God is moving, even and especially in the times when it seems like that would be impossible. I am thankful for all of you. I am thankful for the ways our community has stayed together. I am thankful for all who showed up last night at our peace vigil to light a candle. And for all those who weren't able to be with us, I encourage you, in your thankfulness, to light a candle in your own home. Light a candle for peace. Light a candle for love. Light a candle for unity. And continue to look for our God who is showing up. Keep the faith, stay safe, and we'll see you next week. Thanks for tuning in.